This will be a discussion about me trying to figure out how the virtual environments work. At the end of the day, you would think that the Oculus Go, which had virtual environments at the beginning of its lifetime, would still be there in the year of 2025, but that isn't the case. Meta or Facebook or whatever you want to call it essentially broke the Oculus Go when they unlocked it because they honestly just didn't care about the servers or anything else that kind of makes the Oculus work. A lot of people report now that when they get their Oculus turned back on in this day and age, it'll be black. So for me, it was a priority to figure out how do you select a virtual environment background in the Oculus Go. The number one way to be able to know what's going on as far as logs when you're interacting with your Oculus headset will be ADB logcat. It is a command that you can use with ADB, which comes with Android's like SDK kits. I saw that there was some sort of variable that they said about selected environment, something like that. And so that looked very curious to me. I wasn't necessarily sure what was controlling that. I search out the actual Linux instance of the Oculus headset, and I find multiple different databases. I find a systems database. I think I found a settings database or something, and I found a users database. I use ADB pull to download those database files off of the Oculus headset onto my computer. And then I use dbeaver to actually open up the database on each of those files and see what's inside of there. And I was able to find that variable in the users database. When I actually went back in and it was set to null or nothing, I was able to see in logcat that it would find out that it's null or blank and set it to a default. This default they sent the string for, and that string changed everything. I now knew that it was going to be a character string or an APK URI that has a path for where that file is. There was another person, he had a Google Drive where he has a list of actual virtual environments that you could use already that he got from another Oculus. I was able to download those. I was able to put that into the APK that is necessary for being able to see those files for the virtual background environment. I was able to go back into my users database and switch the path to any of the file names just as long as they were added to the APK, and it works. I was able to see bubbles, for example, and that alone, just switching from the gray background that they give you to the bubbles, proved that you can now switch your virtual background environment. I'm not done. If anyone else who wasn't really technical wanted to do this, they would have to go through so many hoops just to get a different background. My goal being is that if I can be able to figure this out, I can then be able to repackage up the Oculus Go image where at least you have a list of virtual background environments.